Okay, I want to go ahead and explain really quickly exactly what you can expect when you're using one-day funds to close your double closing transactions. One-day funds, we provide transactional funding for real estate investors who need funds to take actual title to a property for their quick turn title transfers. Now, these quick turn transfers are best described as three-party deals with two separate closings. So to explain this, we basically call this type of deal an ABC type closing. Okay, an ABC type closing. You as a real estate investor will be represented as party B, and you have found a property. You got a great deal on it. You negotiated a great purchase price, especially if it's a short sale, and you negotiate that from the homeowner, which we call party A. After this, you will have found a qualified buyer, which we call party C. That's you're going to contract with them at a higher sales price to render your profits from them. While the transaction from party A to party B, right here, is always fundable through the one-day funds program, more and more often we actually see complications either with state law, title insurance, or lender requirements that encumber or actually ultimately kill your deal from party B to party C. So why is that? Well, with changes in today's real estate and mortgage industry, wet funds have become required, or in some cases actually mandatory. Wet funds requirements make it impossible to transfer title from party A right here to party C over here without you, which is in the middle, party B, taking full legal title from party A by bringing actual funds to close on that purchase. That would be wet funds. And while this is not a problem for a few seasoned investors who can use their own cash to buy from the bank, which would be A in this case, many investors need all or additional funds from a no-nonsense quick turn transaction funding source, and that's where one-day funds come in. So as long as you basically will get us the documents that we require, which I'm going to go over in just a second, we will fund your purchase from party A right here so that you'll have full title to transfer to party C on the same day. So one-day funds is your one-stop resource to fund all your real estate back-to-back closings. We specialize in funding short sales, but can fund REOs, wholesales, FSBOs, or for sale by owners, commercial transactions, bulk REOs, and any other real estate double closing that you need. So we're going to go through this really quickly here. First off, you have you, the investor. And here's what we're going to need from you. We're going to need from you is we're going to need to know the amount of money that you need to borrow. Then we're going to need to see proof of control or interest that you have in the property. That could be a memorandum of trust, a notice of option, or a deed. Most of the time now we're seeing trust not being used, so we're seeing the memorandum or the notice of option or a deed. Next, we're going to need to see the A to B contract, which means the first closing when you're buying. So in this case, it's going to be the bank or the seller's party A to party B, you the investor. We need to see that contract. From B to C, which is going to be you the investor to your end buyer, we're going to need that contract as well. That's the second closing, and that's when you're selling. We're also going to need a copy of the short sale approval. If you're going to do a short sale, we need to see that acceptance letter. We need to know the closing location. If you don't have one, we could recommend one for you, no problem. And then we're also going to need to know the closing date. Okay, so that's it that we need from you. Next, we're going to be dealing with the title company or the escrow agent, and we're going to send them closing instructions, and then they are going to send us a bank wire after the closing. We're also going to wire in the funds into their escrow accounts with these closing instructions. The fees that we charge are very, very inexpensive. In fact, if not the lowest that the industry provides. We charge 2 to 3 points, and here's how it works. If you can see here, it shows that percentage equals points in this case. So if you have 2% is what we're charging, or 2 points, up to $250,000 transaction. So if you need to borrow $250,000 to $650,000, if your purchase price is within those two amounts, then we're going to charge 2.49%, okay, or 2.5 points basically. And if you need to borrow $650,000 to $1 million, we're going to charge 2.9%, or right at 3 points for that transaction. So it's very, very inexpensive. All the transactions over $1 million require private consultation. We just want to make sure we're on the same page on those. We don't have a lot of those, but certainly we do have a few. And I also need to let you know that we are not going to make less than $27.95 per loan. Okay, so that's a minimum. So we're not going to make $27.95 plus the 2 points. Okay, but we're only the 2 points, whichever is going to be higher, the 2 points or the $27.95. That's a minimum amount that we're going to have to make on each one of these loans. And then what we charge is $495 funding commitment. That is the lowest I've seen in the industry, and it is something that is on top of your points. Okay, so $495 funding commitment. Very, very inexpensive for us to wire those funds in to get the deal closed. And the amount of time that we need to get the deal done is usually 48 hours minimum, but the longer the better. You know, no one likes to do things at a rush moment. We're going to do a little bit of due diligence on our end, so just give us the longer amount of time. As soon as you know we're ready to close, and you've got those 2 contracts ready to go, your A to B and your B to C, let us know, and so we can get everything set up. And that's really as easy as it can come. I mean, basically, we need to know how much you need to borrow. You need to know the control documents. We need to have the A to B contract, the B to C contract, copy of that short sale acceptance letter, a closing location, and a closing date. And then we're going to take care of the rest. We're going to wire everything into the closing company or the escrow office. You're going to pay us a very nominal amount of money on those funds, and then the time frame is only 48 hours that we need to get everything ready to go. So I hope that this has been helpful for you to understand the process. I get so many people asking about it, and this is the best way that I know how to explain it. So I hope this is helpful for you, and we look forward to funding all of your transactions for double closings.